Activity 5, GDP Components. So we have about 7 indicators here. We will get the data from this link. We will plot all of them as it's stated here. We will show how to label the axis. And we will show how to give a title label. We are going to briefly talk about increasing, decreasing, or stable trend by just looking at the charts. Then here it says you should compare export of goods and services with import of goods. So we will put both of them on a completely different chart. And here it says you should look at the relationship between final domestic product, final consumption expenditure, gross fixed capital formation. We will put them on another chart, and that will be it. And you will use whatever tool you find online to be able to explain these indicators and explain the relationship. Why should it matter? As usual, we will go to this link to get the information. Now I encourage you go to this link of Statistics Canada and briefly take a look at it, because the data set originally came from this link, and then I moved it. I built this app to be able to make it easy for students. Okay, let's go to the site. I've already opened it. So basically here, when you open it, you can scroll to, this is GDP. So all you need to do is to click to download the data. And as usual, it will download. So the next thing we need to do is to open a blank Excel workbook. I've already done that for time. I'll go to data, get data from file. It's a CSV file, and I will go all the way to download once it opens. Download GDP, import, et voila. We have the dialog box opening, GDP data downloaded today. So I'll go to transform data just to take a look and make sure the data is not messy and it's okay. So the most important thing, we want to make sure we have the right data type here. Make sure this is date. This you don't care, it's generally ABC, and make sure here we have integer. Okay, if it's not, you click and you choose whole number. Actually it's whole number. Okay, so I think that's it. There's nothing more you need to do here. All you need to do is home, close and load 2. You leave all the defaults, you're okay. And once it loads, I'm going to close this. I don't need it. At times it appears and wastes one's time. So click anywhere inside the table, go to insert, pivot table, from table range, and leave the default. Now okay. Now you have your first pivot table, and if you look at the first question, it simply wants you to generate a plot of everything. So we will come here. In order to do that, I'll take date, put it where we have rows, go to component, put it where we have columns, value, put it where we have values. Now we don't want to be summing everything. We will take the average. So I'll click on sum, value field setting, average, okay. And what's the next thing to do? I will click here, go to pivot table analyze, pivot chart, take line, okay, and then click on the chart, expand it. Now we need to make some adjustments. I now want to put a title for my axis and a title for the chart. So this is how we proceed. You simply go to design, add chart element, axis, no, it's axis title. So let's see, primary horizontal, click on it. Here I will make this into date and click somewhere else, go back to add chart element, axis title, take the y-axis. Here we have CAD, so it's in Canadian dollars, and we want a title, add chart element. Let's see, chart title, click here, and I'll let you decide. Okay, maybe it's actually GDP components. Maybe make it bold, it's up to you. And if you want, you can come and scroll here and see if any of the things here will help, but don't take any of those things that just make the chart look as if it's coming out of a horror show. Yeah, I really don't like any of them, so I'll leave it as it is. So basically this is the first one. If you take a look at what the instruction says, yeah, it says you should label it. So now what do you do with the chart? You take it to a Word document and you look at each of these components and you talk about it. Now to really make life easy, click here, go to Pivot Chart Analyze, add a slicer, take component, OK, because this will help you do your analysis at a personal level. So if you want to see what is happening across time, you want to see what's going on with final consumption expenditure, click here and you can see, is it going up or is it going down? What is happening across the years to this? What is going on with this? What is going on here? What is going on here? And so on and so forth. Okay, let's see, does the instructions even give you a timeline? At times it's good to look for the, oh, it says the past 5 years. Okay, the past 5 years. So we need to restrict it to the past 5 years, and this is how we do. You click here, you go back to Pivot Chart Analyze, you click on Timeline, you take date, OK, and then you want to change this from months to years, click yes, and then you'll click and then click and drag. You want the past 5 years, and that is it. So now once you've selected this for the past 5 years, you can now examine what is going on. Is it going up, down? What's going on with each of these indicators? And to even make things better, you can click here to expand it. Okay, so it's this thing here. So you check and say, is it, what do you observe across time for each of these indicators? That is for your analysis. But for the graph you want to supply, you want to leave something like this. Of course, as much as possible, you want to expand this to see the changes. Okay, at the end of the day, you want to present something that looks beautiful. Okay, that's it for the first part. The second one now says you want to compare these two indicators: export of goods and services, import of goods and services. You want to compare the two of them. So we will go back to our Excel sheet. I'll go to a new worksheet. If I don't want to go to, let's just go to a new one. Click there, go to, no, let's not do that. Go to GDP data. Click anywhere inside, insert, pivot table, table range, OK. It will add a new pivot. You do exactly the same. You take date and you put date there. You take value, put it there. You want to make sure the value is the average. Okay. Components, you want to put it there. You want to add a chart, pivot chart, line. Okay. However, this time you want to get a pivot chart, go to pivot chart analyze, take a slicer, component, and you want to exclusively choose two components. You want to choose import and you want to go to export. I'll hold down my control key, export and release. There you are. So here at times, I'll click on the graph. You need to add the labels and the chart title. I'll go to design. Let's see, at times for this chart, you may have something interesting that helps you really do a nice contrast. No, nothing helpful. So I'll leave it as it is. There you can see the difference, okay? You can see that our imports are really less than our exports across the years, but you want to focus on the last 5 years. So you have this already. Just go click anywhere, click on the chart, pivot chart analyze, timeline, date, okay. And you repeat exactly what we earlier did. Change months to years. Click on 2023, drag it all the way there, and now you can see. Now you want to compare our exports and imports for the past 5 years and discuss. Let's do the last requirement, which is you are comparing final domestic demand, final consumption expenditure, and gross fixed capital formation. So let's click on the initial data, click anywhere inside, insert, pivot table, table range, okay, and put date where you have rows, value, values. Click on sum, value field setting, average, okay. Components, you put it there. Pivot table analyze, pivot chart, line, okay. Expand it to make it look nice and beautiful. Then pivot chart analyze, insert slicer, component, okay. You want to expand it slightly and then place it there. Click on the chart, pivot chart analyze, insert timeline, check date, okay. Move it there and change months to years. Click on 2023, click here, drag all the way. And then now we did say you want to check gross fixed capital formation. Let's look at the other ones. We have final domestic demand, final consumption expenditure. So final consumption expenditure, I'll hold down control, click on it, and final domestic demand, still holding down control, click on it, and then release. Now you can compare them and try to see what is what. So GDP, you have the different components. You can see how important this is. If basically you even go back to the first one, let's see, it's sheet 2, you can see which component is the most important and so on and so forth. Okay, so yeah, that is it. If you have any challenges how to interpret it, please use any tool online. There are lots of beautiful tools. You just need to put the name and it's going to tell you how to interpret it, and put it on a Word document, make it look nice, and I'll see you in class. Have fun.